That's Bryan in the center there. Him and Gucci, they wanted a cigarette. I don't have any. He knows I record everything. He also said he would help go in with me, so that would be either 3 or 4 people willing to go in with me. We got to go in as a group and try to coordinate a time and a day to do that. So we'll have to try to coordinate that. Those of us who are homeless, we'll have to try to coordinate that with when the people who have jobs are able to. It'll also make it so that each one of them, as I see them, I can try to fill them in on one little part of what's going on and how important it is. I did give Bryan and Gucci, well, I gave Bryan some rolling papers because I didn't have any cigarettes to give him, just rolling papers. We did talk for a couple of seconds about Ryan Woods and the whole, I know a lot about it, but some of the people who have talked to me about him, I don't know. I wasn't there when he was driving his vehicle into the Air Museum. He's like, yeah, I know. Yeah. Just because you know somebody, I want you to imagine all of the people that you have talked to in the last month. Now imagine every one of them is getting treated like they must have been there with you when you did something stupid. Oh. Alright, now I am craving a banana. That means that I would like a banana more than just want one. I got $1 to spend. That's a good start. And I got some change, and I'm gonna get the damn bathroom code because I'm about to fist myself. Here's a good one. That was one of Michael's. Oh, that's so lucky. That's one of Shelly's. Oh, it's 4 p.m. I did make a video earlier that y'all are not privy to. I do that from time to time. That's because it might have info, or because I want to make sure that I got the story correct, and I want the person who was involved in the story to be able to, if I made a mistake, I want to know so I can correct it. So I let them go through it and give me the okay or the go ahead before popping it up public. There's also quite a few of those that are not up in public, even though I very well could and have been told that I probably should post them up for everyone to see. It's got very personal information, like the kind that gets people killed, of course. And I know that sounds crazy, but look at the violence that I have to endure. There are some of these people who have been told the horrible things that they did. Some people told me, oh, well, I can't help you right now because of my boyfriend or my husband or whoever did this horrible thing, or my wife. Anyway, I also saw Crimson. It's Eli's dog. I really like Crimson. Alright, I'm done picking up trash out here. If it's got too much more, I'm gonna urinate myself. I know it'll be cute for most of y'all, but it won't be pleasant for my trousers. And they're brand new, because there's a lady who didn't want me bearing my backside for the whole world to see. So she got me some trousers at work. And as a result, my rear iris is not as puckered up as it was before. Consequently, not so sore. I'm also not afeared to try to bend over and pick up a quarter. Anyway, back in my car, I decided not to get a banana. I got a soda instead. My back is killing me, and uh, 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 and ain't none of that belching from the soda pop. I haven't even opened it yet. Not all these people who've been predatory towards me. How many of them do you believe I would actually turn down? Well, damn, that keeps fucking up, don't it? At all these people who've done fucked up shit to me, how many of them do you think I would turn down if they were being harmed, if they asked me for help? There are a few people who recently have said I'd go in and turn it in right now if I knew more, which is significant. Now, I've got a couple of people that, first of all, they're drug addicts who admit that they're drug addicts. They don't try to hide it. They do have their opinions about a situation that they weren't there for. But as far as the situations they were there for, it's not some delusion or illusion to them. It's reality. God damn, my neck is killing me. Alright, well, I was thinking about going and saying hello to a lady who was hopefully going to be able to help me out, but I don't know. And I don't see her car, so I'm assuming she was able to get home or go home. Thank goodness. I think everybody should be allowed to go home. That Cynthia lady is really nice too. Like, there's a lot of people that are real protective, but a lot of their protectiveness it's really scary to me. Like, yeah, I got the taser, and a lot of people encourage me to use the taser, but I just can't get myself to do it. The situation with Farnsworth, I had a taser in my pocket when he was doing that. There's at least half a dozen, if not more, situations where the way he was getting up in my face over and over and over again. And he did the same thing as Wolnez. Started off with pretending that I'm a pedophile, and he also called me a millionaire. That was pretty cool. He thought I was a millionaire. Started off calling me a pedophile and a killer, and telling me his friends, the cops, are telling him this and that and the other, and I'm like, but your friends, the cops, weren't there for it, were they? Meanwhile, there's a possibility and probability that all of that was just delusions, because he was doing the same thing to Jim, who's been his friend for years. We also know that when I see Robert Farnsworth now, I hope I've been saying Robert Farnsworth and not Robert uh, Franklin Mornick, because Robert Franklin Mornick is a sick piece of shit. He's a registered sex offender in Nebraska. Now, Robert Walnez, or not Robert Walnez, if I say Robert Walnez, I do apologize because it's actually Andrew Walnez, the guy that was in one of the videos earlier, the one that's private, that I sent to a lady so that I could get her approval. Uh, Bryan Woods, he was the guy who drove his car, or someone else's car, through the, what do you call that? I keep wanting to say the Tillamook Airport, but it's the Tillamook Air Museum. That's not working too good. I'm not very good at rolling cigarettes. Oh, this abuse that I've endured over the situation with Natalie Bollinger. Because I'm never allowed to show my side, show evidence. I have to have a friend or family member verify the evidence and call with me to any place I have to go. Repeatedly, when I've tried to show this evidence in person, I've been threatened, harassed, intimidated, threatened with being arrested, actually been arrested. And you know, I got lit on fire in the mountains, but that don't matter. I lit myself on fire, and not on purpose. Somebody else tried to light me on fire, and it didn't work. But I was up at camp collecting firewood when they did that. And of course, I was fucking razzled and frazzled and fucking not thinking straight. I didn't even light the fire. I just put a couple of sticks on. It looked like the bed of coals was out. Looked like it hadn't been used for a couple of days. So I put the first set of sticks on there and it was fine. I put the second set of sticks on there, making a teepee. Left side of my body lit up. I burnt my left hand a bit, you know, like here's a blister I just tore the dead skin off of, and same thing on my finger there. See how they're discolored? I'm trying to find an angle where this will work from. I'll try to hold it at this end. You can see all that right there, discolored and pink, and that's after it's healed up quite a bit. All up the side of my hand, and it's just it was a lot more Freddy Krueger looking before. And then there's of course the burns on the top of my hand. They're kind of shiny looking if you look at it from the side. I don't know how good quality it's showing right now. I can't hold my phone for that long. Not with my right hand. Well, I've been practicing. I've been, stirring my coffee. That gets it going pretty good. I try to do right hand activities to try to get my hand accustomed to it. It's real difficult because, like, my hand is buzzing all day, like when your foot goes to sleep, primarily because my right leg's pretty messed up. Um, and I use my cane to keep myself balanced because I'm pretty weak in both legs. And people don't listen to that. They don't factor that in when they make their suggestions. A lot of times it's because I don't get to tell them that's going on because they are busy making suggestions, or I tell them it's going on and they didn't hear it the first time, the second time, the third time. Pinch my lips so I don't start crying like a bitch, right? Court sucked. Judge says I can leave, but what's the sense in that? No matter where I go, all I'm doing is separating myself from my resources. Things that I should not have had to do, that I was forced to do by law enforcement and these other services in order for them to do anything about any of the crimes committed against me. This is blatant abuse of the law. Bullying someone to go to another jurisdiction or call another jurisdiction, and then, of course, I have to go to that other jurisdiction to turn in the places. For example, I had to go to Warrenton to try to turn in crimes that were committed against me. I was in Tillamook, and the places that I got to turn in are in Warrenton, Astoria, that area. So I got to go there to turn it in, right? Well, I got an opportunity, even though I didn't have the money for it. There was a lady who needed a ride home, and I gave her a ride home, and she got there safely. While I was there, I got bullied and harassed and threatened and intimidated, and cops kept running around doing the same slander. People here in Tillamook were running around telling me, hey, the cops told me this, the cops told me that. I also got recordings of the cops telling people that. There's also their body cameras, such as the issue with the officer in Warrenton who came into the First Steps place and tried insinuating that I was wanted for murder. Yeah, people think that it's original when they say shit like that. Like I hadn't heard it before. Now, is anybody going to help me get the body cameras from the Warrenton Police Department? How about any of the phone calls that I made to them, or any of the places that they sent me to? Not sure if you noticed, but the tactics of law enforcement are the same everywhere when it comes to a disabled homeless man. Blow him off, blow him off, blow him off, play stupid. Play off of your position of power to prevent his evidence from being seen by slandering his name. When you realize that I'm trying to tell on you, what do you officers do? You wait a bit. You go, oh, we're not harassing him technically. We're just driving a whole bunch around where he's at. 3 different agencies. The State Patrol, the Police Department, and the Tillamook Sheriff's Department. Yep, they say they can't do anything about something in another jurisdiction, but then, of course, they'll work across multiple jurisdictions to fucking harass me for somebody else, won't they? Fuck this goddamn country and everyone in it, right? Natalie Bollinger went through hell, but so did I. You think Natalie Bollinger had it bad? She didn't. She was only 19 years old when Joseph Michael Lopez blew her fucking brains out. 19. And she'd already lived enough hell for one lifetime. When I was 19, I'd lived through enough hell for one lifetime. And it's only gotten worse. I'm overwhelmed because there is too much to explain it all. It makes better sense if you watch it. I send people evidence so they can see that it happened. After I send it to them, I say, so did the situation actually happen? Or did I hallucinate it? Why is this? Because the police keep trying to pretend, and of course the Bollingers as well, that I made up all of the abuse from them. That all of the predators are figments of my imagination. That none of the crimes committed against me are crimes. They just talk over me so they don't get any details. Then they tell me I haven't told them any details. Or they hang up on me. Or the place that I'm sent to by another professional agency tells me it's not their job either. But I should go to this professional agency or that professional agency. And it's just been around in circles on that. It's been like that since 2016 with the Natalie Bollinger situation. And people pretend that because I'm trying to show the truth, it means I'm stalking a dead girl. You can't stalk a dead person, stupid. I was never stalking Natalie. Her and her friends were fucking stalking me. You can't tell a woman no when she's on drugs and young and full of everybody in her life throwing themselves at her like they're $2 hookers. Yeah, when you're the one guy who's not doing that, she might develop a crush. Then you have to try to break it to her nicely and softly so she doesn't start scratching herself with a lady bick. Now, Natalie Bollinger wasn't going to scratch herself with a lady bick. She was a deep cutter by that point. It was hard to look at her without crying. But then she'd smile and she'd talk to you in that sweet voice. And you knew she wasn't going to do anything to hurt you. I was real deceiving, though. She said it's okay for me to have emotions. Then her and her predators, the people who had been predatory towards her, assigned emotions to me and assigned me as a bad person for having a mental breakdown. I was severely dehydrated in Virginia, and nearly all the people that I was going there to see, I couldn't see because I was too broke, and I was too broken to work. I helped clean up Hurricane Matthew. I'd hurt my back over a year before on my birthday. I was not in good shape, and I shouldn't have tried to clean up Hurricane Matthew. On the bright side, though, I got to see a cute little dog named Gucci today. And I got to see Crimson, too. Although Eli don't talk to me, I'm fairly certain he's aware I post about him. I'm absolutely certain that I told him that I do. Whether or not he took me seriously before, I do not know. I do believe that he should have an honest day in court. And I do believe that the young woman who told me that Eli harmed her, I think she should be able to go places without being afraid that he might go there and harm her. He got to see while Mr. Farnsworth was doing his stuff, he didn't care where it was at. You also get to see how I try hard to pretend in public like everything's okay. Sometimes someone asks the right question, but it's not the appropriate place to talk about it. I was gonna try to panhandle up enough for another coffee. I realize this doesn't have any caffeine in it, and I'm trying to talk slow and calm so I don't stutter right now. I've always had a stuttering problem. The more scared or nervous and more nerve-wracking scenario I've been through, the more I stutter. And the more I get winky blink with my eyes, and the more I do this with my wrists, and the more the corner of my mouth's twitch. Most of the time it's because I'm trying not to cry about something. It's okay, Sean, you're allowed to have emotions. And then, oh, you have emotions? Well, we're going to assign some of our own because we're embarrassed. All of those people could have avoided this entire situation by just not being fucking dickheads, but just leaving me alone. Like, when a dude leaves, let him leave. You don't have to spread slander about it. You don't have to lie about him. You don't have to pretend he's some sort of horrible sleaze just because you got fucking embarrassed. How many women in Facebook and Twitch and YouTube brag about doing that stuff? They fucking brag about it. Some of the women who told me they thought it was horrible that a woman would treat me that way went and did that to people they were actually dating. Dude said he was done with her, and she starts screaming about how he wears little boys' underpants or little girls' underpants and is into little boys, and he's a homosexual who can't get it up. And God, just stop. Just leave him alone. And 2 weeks later, she's whining and pining that he's not going to take her back. Not after you do that shit to him. The other thing is, if he did all that shit, why are you trying to take him back? Why are you whining and pining he's the only man for you? What the fuck, Chuck? Like when you call a dude over and you type about your romance with this guy, about he ain't no broke bloke. He's got his own place, he's got his own ride, he's got his own job. Typing my baby look good. Then of course, he kept his place, didn't he? You typing about how you called him up and told him to come over, and he come over. Then afterwards, you're like, he didn't even pay no rent. Damn. That lady, she was gonna help me. She was gonna help me show what happened and put a stop to it. And instead, she ended up doing it to her boyfriend. She had her own place. Then she couldn't pay the rent. Turns out he was paying part of her rent. That would explain like why after 2 weeks, after you broke up and slandered his name so horribly, why are you doing the baby I love you bullshit? They call it the honeymoon period. Oh baby, I love you, but I love you. You know I didn't mean to do it. I was just being emotional. Yeah, we know. But being emotional like that gets innocent men killed. And it happens far too often, and if you've done it once, you'll do it again. You're going to run around to all those people that you slandered his name to and tell them the truth? No. Instead, she got on and slandered him for what a horrible man he is for not taking her back. He got a hold of me. He's like, thanks for having my back. Why'd he do that? Because I let him know what the fuck was up. By going to her timeline, where she was slandering his name. No, this is where she was whining and pining and calling him a no good nobody because he wouldn't take her back. And I posted up some of the screenshots of the shit she had been typing about him, and I posted it up there. She'd tagged his name in it, so he'd look. He fucking blocked her. That's not actually the smart thing to do, because then you don't know all the stuff that she's slandering your name that's even worse. He said it's all right though. Me and him had a nice little conversation. He said it's all right. He's got good people. His people will back him up. Also, he's got the evidence, because when I posted it on that particular post, I was like, this right here, this is why he won't take you back. You got this pro-LGBT sticker around your Facebook profile picture while you're angrily and pissed off he left your ass. You're typing about how he is. She literally typed that
he was into little boys, that he wore little girls' underpants. What else was it? That he was a homosexual. What else was it? Like, she threw all of the fucking lies at him. It's funny that her begging people for money to make the rent coincided with her trying to get him to come back. He kept his place. She wasn't able to keep hers. She didn't make her rent. She lost her place. Now, is that his fault? No, he left the situation and was done with her. You go spreading that kind of slander, she's finished. She doesn't get to be girlfriend no more. Once you start slandering a man's name, trying to get him literally murdered, you're done. You don't get a second chance after that, lady. You should know better. So he took those screenshots of her slandering his name. Hopefully he's taking her to court. I record because people do all sorts of illegal shit. And it's a lot easier to prove it if you record the actual event. Actually record it, not write it down as in recording it for the records. I mean, actually recording the situation. Whereas all these people wanted to, I think that's rude. Well, with all due respect, it's what we are supposed to do for the safety of an at-risk adult. Hey, Craig. You are winded as fuck.
Yeah, I've been having problems with my breathing lately, so probably ready for another therapy session.
Yes, sir.
Forced air. My lungs are at pretty low capacity, so.
That's all right. With the amount of sleep I've been getting and the amount of stress I got, my brain is working at near nothing capacity.
Well, they finally opened the thing. I'm going to take the cans over there and turn them in. Do you want anything? Sir. You need anything?
Well,
I'll be willing to share the booty with you.
I didn't see it.
Not my booty, but the booty of the.
I didn't see I could use some gas and coffee money as always, but I don't think we're getting enough. Well, you're trying to get free, but I don't think you get free money out of it. I didn't see a thing from you on my email.
I sent you one.
All right.
So just check again. It takes a while with Yahoo sometimes. That's why they call it Yahoo. Yeah. Yahoo.
I got two people other than you, and might have two more already.
Oh, great.
The thing is, a lot of those people that, if you got 10 different people that are telling you, oh, it'll never work, and then they don't try, but you got 10 different ones that know what's up, that's still 10 different people who know what's up.
Yeah.
And if those 10 people vouch for the fact that you're telling the truth about those situations, they did happen, then it's real difficult for the cops to pretend that I'm a schizophrenic nut job who made you up and made them up and made Nick up.
There's no making people up. Making up aliens is one thing, and Sasquatch is another. But we're talking about actual real people here, actual real situations. So.
Yeah, and that's the messed up thing. Am I a alien or dragon friggin' conspiracy dude with a tinfoil hat, or am I dude who's set up this shit? You know?
The only dragon that I've ever really enjoyed came on a 4-way window pane. Green and red.
Oh my God!
I'll be right back.
Before you go, I have a joke for you.
All right.
Because of that, what you just said. How many deadheads does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Oh no, I don't know.
None. They wait for it to burn out and follow it around the country for 20 years.
Nice.
Right?
That's nice. That's nice. His name is Jerry Garcia, by the
And
way.
he's a sweethart.
And he plays some of the really greatest 11-minute solos you'll ever hear. I'll be right back.
Better than Hendrix and the Star Spangled Banner.
That's only 7.
Ah, shit. I don't know if they recorded that. Set that to retry.
Oh,
That's not high enough right there. A lot of times when I'm in my car, it's because I'm too exhausted to get up. Like right now, I recline my seat too much, so I have to grab the steering wheel to sit up, and also have to push with my elbow off the seat. Alright, so Craig said he sent an email to me. I just checked, there's no notification for it, but I got a pretty big burp building, but I'm not able to force it out. Alright, we'll see what happens. My phone is down to next to nothing as far as the charge goes, so we'll get this plugged in and then we'll see if I can get myself set up.
And my car started. Also, I've been listening to the video that I have that's offline right now that I made today. I've been listening to it. I was looking at the little counter that shows how many times I'd watched it, because I can't watch it all the way through. A lot of times, like, I had almost a 10-minute conversation here with Bryan. Oh. I'm out of tobacco. I got a snipe rolled out of snipes. So, or a rollie that was rolled out of other rollies that came from snipes. So, if I'm gonna have a cigarette, I'm gonna have to smoke it out of the tobacco pipe, and that's just not cool. Well, I got half of one right here. Never mind. Also, while we're at it, there's a man who looked like he was in a tunnel, and somebody was showing me how it looked like one of the tunnels they have in one of the Israeli raid videos where they went down into the tunnels and did some stuff. And I'm like, well, that's cool, but I don't think that's an Israeli raid video from what's going on right now. I think that's from like years and years ago. I don't think that it's the same place, but yeah, they have kind of the same, well, the same exact construction method, but I mean, it's kind of an odd little archway thing that they got over them that basically it looks like some cement beams over their head. That don't seem like too smart of an idea. But I don't know if it is cement beams. I have a tendency to info dump. Oh, getting some pressure behind my eyeballs, so putting my hand on it like this, putting a little bit of pressure on my eyeball, but not much, kinda sort of makes it feel better. I'm definitely getting another ear infection though. I suppose I ought to make a video about my last trip to the mountains and how much we were able to get cleaned up. And obviously I am planning on going up there again. It really ain't nice to leave a site like that, you know. Mm. 'Oh, let's turn that off and give it a second, and then we'll try it again. It did kind of sound like it was oinking. Anyway, Bryan's recorded on my channel enough that, yeah, you can verify he exists. Some of you might even know what he sounds like. Ain't no hatred towards him. I was just thinking to myself, you know, sometimes I do that. Sometimes there's birds that call and I'm like, all right, is that a bird? And is that a squealing tire or is that a baby crying? I have to listen for it. Mm. 3% battery, and now we're charging again. I am afraid of turning off my camera because I never know when somebody's going to do something. There's someone pulling in behind me, so I'm gonna make sure that parked where they're gonna park. That way I know for a fact they're not just cruising through and making sure there's nobody on the other side. Yeah, they parked. Sometimes people will see an opening where there's one parking space right in front of another and they'll just cut through. I'm gonna repark over by the library. Alright, looks safe. Because when I go panhandling, I don't like to panhandle on the sidewalk here if my car is actually parked in the parking lot. Alright, it's clear. Well, the gentleman just parked himself where I'm going to be panhandling so that he can panhandle. As a result, I'm going to do something called being patient. Alright. I'm down to about half a tank now. One of the guys who was mean to me, he wanted to give me some gas. Wanted to use his grandparents' gas card, though. I'm not really down with that, you know? Anyway, one of the things with youngins is that I don't want to get any trouble for them talking to me. And, you know, I really am a lot nicer to the youngins here than I am in Boulder, Colorado. Because in Boulder, Colorado, like, it makes it bad for all of the homeless. Just like when you, as a mother, you kick a man out of the house. He's a bricklayer, right? You kick him out of the house because he was molesting your daughter. He moves to Boulder. And then when they arrest him a couple weeks later, they say he was a something-year-old homeless man from Boulder. Like, no, he was not homeless in Boulder until 2 weeks ago. Until then, he was a bricklayer. So now you make it bad for all homeless people because people want to take it out on horrible monsters, and you've painted the homeless as horrible monsters many times in the media, social media, movies, the news. And all of you play on the mentally ill thing, like every homeless person must be a schizophrenic who's violent for no fucking reason. It's completely ludicrous. Now we can take a look at the, yeah, burnt the shit out of it. It was after a couple of weeks of healing, or a week at least. All right. You see how discolored it is in different places. Anyway, now that I'm parked over here, but somebody's in the spot I was gonna use, I'm gonna go use the bathroom and get me a friggin' banana like I was gonna do earlier. Some folks parked next to me and I was waiting on them to either get out of the way or pull out, but they just kind of sat there, whole family of folks. I'm like, well, all right. Oh, there you go. Whoa, that feels a lot better. Obviously, the folks at Safeway have been taking real good care of me. They don't understand the situation quite, because I only get to talk to them a few minutes at work while I'm getting something to eat or getting my coffee. Let me tell you how the police work when you're a homeless man. Whether you're disabled or not, they're going to call you mentally ill. Let me tell you the reality of the situation first. I've found drugs and needles on multiple occasions here. I've turned them into 4 different staff members. Barb I've gone to twice, and Miriam I've gone to at least 4 times. When I find drugs, I want them to be properly disposed of. I do find them on Safeway property, so I take them to the Safeway people. Now I record it so that I show I'm doing the right thing. However, if the cops try to pretend that I was distributing free drugs to the employees at Safeway, I could get in trouble, and they could get in trouble, just because the cops wanted to pretend that it was a drug deal, basically. When in reality, it was a bunch of people trying to make sure that the Safeway property over there, myself included, wasn't all infested with fucking needles and drugs and shit. Obviously, I'm pretty fucking tired. I think that was the last blister that needed popped. Now, the problem is, this is police nationwide when it comes to the homeless, because we're good money. We are good money. Congress will apportion hundreds of millions of dollars per year to put homeless people in fucking therapy. And a whole lot more than that to have them incarcerated in jails and prisons. Meanwhile, for the cost of locking up a homeless person for a year, you could house at least 6 of them. Over $10,000 a month to house an inmate in most places. I want you to think about that number. How many of you have ever seen $10,000 in a month? And don't get on here and start bragging about bullshit that never happened. Just answer it to yourselves. How many times have you realistically and actually gotten a $10,000 paycheck in 1 month? Realistically, how many of you are going to get a $10,000 paycheck? Well, realistically, most of the hobos are locked up. At least 7.1 million of us. So the United States can say, oh, we only have 600,000 homeless people. So the United States pretends that 600,000 homeless people chose to be homeless. Literally, the only way that you end up homeless in the United States is by choosing it, apparently. Because we're all closet millionaires. Mm. Oh. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and I'll probably come back out and tell you about a man who's missing from here. His name is Tommy White. He is 5'6" or around 5'6". He's got blondish brown hair, blue eyes, and he's missing from Tillamook since October 14th. It's October 23rd now. It's been well over a week. Let's see if I still have the commode code. Indeed I do. When I got to the bathroom, somebody had slid it into the door. So I grabbed it so I could memorize the code so I could use it. Let's see what we're at. 10%. Holy shit, we ain't got much battery, have we? Alright, that doesn't look like anyone who's predatory towards me. Looks like somebody who parks here. Over by the drug house frequently. They'll probably park next to me. Yep, they did. I don't think he lives there. I think he might be the guy that owns the place. I was told by one dude that he's a really old guy who drives a really old car, but he's rich as fuck. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. If that's the guy, then it seems to be true, because his car is probably about as old as mine. Maybe 5 years newer. I don't really want to go anywhere where it's gonna have people or anywhere at all. Oh, I won't be able to record because my phone died. Usually when I'm panhandling, I keep a pretty close tab on it because I do want to get out of there and back to my car and get everything charged before it dies, just in case. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. You're also your sister's keeper. Don't forget that.